Channel 98.9 Sports Stream at channel989.org. This broadcast is presented by Countertop Solutions, Caflisch Pallet and Wood Supply, Triple E Manufacturing, Necker's Company General Store, Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing, Troyer's Greenhouse, by Stone Audiology, by Whiteland Surveying, J.H. Napa Auto Parts, Mosher Carpeting, J. Edwards Insurance, Utegg's Body Shop, by Lictus Oil and Propane, and Tina Dills, ERA Team VP Licensed Real Estate Agent. And now let's head to the field for all the action of CSP Wolfpack Baseball play-by-play. And now, Lictus Oil and Propane and Clymer presents Clymer Sherman Panama Wolfpack Baseball play-by-play coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream at channel989.org. This broadcast is presented by Countertop Solutions, Caflisch Pallet and Wood Supply, Triple E Manufacturing, Necker's Company General Store, Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing, Troyer's Greenhouse, by Stone Audiology, by Whiteland Surveying, J.H. Napa Auto Parts, Mosher's Carpeting, J. Edwards Insurance, Utegg's Body Shop, by Lictus Oil and Propane, and Tina Dills, ERA Team VP Licensed Real Estate Agent. And now let's head to the field for all the action of CSP Wolfpack Baseball play-by-play.
And a beautiful day for baseball today in Clymer as the Wolfpack have their home opener today against the Chautauqua Lake Eagles. And taking the mound for the Wolfpack will be Bryce Hinsdale in his first appearance that we've covered. The Wolfpack lineup looking a lot like yesterday's lineup, led off by Berchanowski, and then Bryce Hinsdale, Tate Katnies, and Michael Spiesman in the cleanup spot. Max White behind the plate, Isaiah Burkholder in center field, Brady Phelps in left field, Caleb Anderson in right field, and Johnny Avers at second base. For the visiting Chautauqua Lake Eagles, they'll be led by junior Devin Hughes on the mound, and Hughes will hit third for them as well. Their lineup is going to be their center fielder Joust, second baseman Smith, Hughes hitting third, Henry the shortstop in cleanup, Blackman the first baseman hitting fifth, Nowicki the catcher sixth, Wellman the right fielder seventh, Crandall the third baseman eighth, and Emery the left fielder ninth. Today's game about to get started here in just a few moments as we get ready to rock and roll here in Clymer, and the Wolfpack coming off that very impressive win yesterday over Maple Grove and really establishing themselves as possibly a top four team in the league. What will help them determine if that's the case is this game today. Chautauqua Lake 2-2 on the season, 1-0 in the league. The Wolfpack 1-2 on the season with 1-1 league record. So today will really determine who is in the top half and who is in the bottom half of that. CSP's next game, Saturday against Pine Valley, another league game. And this is kind of a league stretch with all the rain that they've had over the last couple weeks. Everything starts to get compacted and you really get to test your pitching. The Wolfpack will get to go a little deeper in the pitching rotation as this week goes on. And now they have a Monday game that was rescheduled. What was supposed to be played on Tuesday at Casadega will now be played next Monday. And that will, again, only give them a couple days rest on their pitching before that challenge. So as we get ready to go here, we're just waiting for some final preparations from both sides. We're going to send you to a quick word from our sponsor here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Utegg's Body Shop in Corry is helping to bring you this broadcast. Along with collision repair and refinishing, Utegg offers frame straightening services. Located at 633 East Smith Street in Corry. Utegg's Body Shop.
Man, I loved playing high school sports growing up. And it's fun being a fan now, don't get me wrong, but sitting in the stands feels like I'm missing out on all the action, you know? I wanted to get back in the game, so I signed up to be a high school official. It takes me back to my playing days. I'm supporting students, and I get paid to make the big calls. Do you want to see the game up close? Sign up to become an official in New York at highschoolofficials.com.
Support for coverage of CSP baseball action on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream comes from J.H. Napa Auto Parts. Your local Napa store stocks auto parts, tools and equipment, and other items for heavy-duty trucks, marine, and farming equipment. Located at 955 North Center Street in Corry and NapaOnline.com.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating, oil, and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
And welcome back to Clymer as we get closer here to first pitch in this first home game of the season for the Wolfpack, as we really have just a perfect day for baseball. Wind is limited. Sun is out and shining. It's nice and warm here, and this is ideal for a home baseball game here in Clymer. Field looks nice. I was out on it a little bit ago. The grass is pretty dry. It's had some time to dry out over the last couple days, so no real issues with balls kind of jamming in the dirt in the infield or anything like that. So it should be pretty lively. Saw both teams take infield practice before the game started here, and again, they seem to have some pretty good pop on the ball. It was bouncing pretty well off the grass, so no issues there. As I mentioned, Devin Hughes, the junior, will be pitching for Chautauqua Lake, and for the Wolfpack will be Bryce Hinsdale. And Bryce playing first base the last couple outings, and he'll switch with Tate Katniss today. Tate will move to first base as Bryce moves to the mound. Max White, the freshman catcher, who has had really as good of a start to the season as a freshman can have behind the plate. I mean, there's been some pass balls, but in general, he's been able to corral most of them. He did have some challenges, especially against Frewsburg, but he's playing through it as a freshman, and that's all you can ask a freshman to do. As I mentioned yesterday, CSP beat Maple Grove in a pretty convincing fashion, 13-2. Leading the way for the Wolfpack was Andrew Spiesman, who went 2 for 4 with a double and a single, and the double was a 3 RBI double that really kind of changed the shape of the game in the second inning. And then Isaiah Burkholder, who was 3 for 4 with 3 singles, and had himself a couple of really nice plays out in right center field as well that aided the Wolfpack's ability to stay in the game at different points. So that's kind of the wrap up of that game. In that game, Tate Katniss did go complete game. 7 strikeouts, 3 walks, 4 hits, and 2 runs. Pretty good numbers for the Wolfpack's number 1 pitcher. Today we'll see the second pitcher on the rotation, Bryce Hinsdale, who has at times been the top guy. So it'll be interesting to see how these two go back and forth as the season goes on. Both of them capable of being the number 1 guy, so they kind of have 2 number 1s. And we'll see what Bryce has today for the Eagles of Chautauqua Lake. As we get ready to get going here, we're going to send you to another quick word from our sponsor here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating, oil, and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
Financial support for this broadcast of CSP Baseball Play-by-Play on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided in part by Stone Audiology at 709 East Columbus Avenue in Corry. Also in Bradford, Northeast, and Kane, Pennsylvania. In Jamestown, Olean, Belmont, and Chaffee, New York. Phone 814-664-7070. Online at stoneaudiology.com.
CSP Wolfpack Baseball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is brought to you in part by Troyer's Greenhouse, now open for the season Monday through Saturday. Troyer's Greenhouse is located at 1669 Weeks Road, just 2 miles west of Panama. Go Wolfpack from Troyer's Greenhouse.
Coverage of Wolfpack Baseball on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided in part by Whiteland Surveying in Clymer, providing land surveys for Chautauqua and Cattaraugus counties in New York and Erie, Warren, and Crawford counties in Pennsylvania. Phone 716-499-8410. Find them online at mwhitepls.com. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Whiteland Surveying for their support.
And welcome back to CSP versus Chautauqua Lake as the Wolfpack takes the field to begin their warm-ups before the beginning of this game here. And we were just talking before the break there about yesterday's game against Maple Grove, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention a couple really nice infield plays made by their second baseman, Johnny Abers. Johnny stabbed one that got past Tate Katniss in the third, and then made another diving play in the 5th inning to snare a ball and keep it in the infield and prevent runs from scoring. So a great effort from Johnny as well on yesterday's game. A lot of young guys contributing to this Wolfpack offense yesterday, and they'll hopefully get that offense going again today. That's the plan from Coach Hare, who picked up his first career varsity win yesterday. And congrats to Coach Hare for that win. The Chautauqua Lake Eagles, middle of the week game for them here, but a league game just as important to them as it is to the Wolfpack. They'll pitch Devin Hughes, the junior, who's one of their better pitchers. So we kind of have 2 number 1s going at it today here in Clymer. Wolfpack ready to get things going, and Joust will be the leadoff batter. He's the center fielder for the Eagles. We'll wait for him to step into the box, and we'll get things cooking here. Michael Joust is a freshman. He does pitch for the Eagles at times, but he's typically an outfielder. He is the center fielder today. And here we go. Joust in the box, and we'll see what 2 pitching to 2 as Hinsdale pitches to Joust. First pitch of the game is underway, and it's outside for ball 1. And we are underway here in Clymer. Hinsdale ready to work quickly. Joust kind of holding things up by stepping out of the box, and here comes Hinsdale to the plate. Nice delivery, fouled off, and the count goes to 1-1. Bryce's pitch, lower inside part of the plate, and then kind of drifted out, maybe a solid 6 to 8 inches. Really nice break to that pitch. And Joust able to get the bat to it, but not enough to do anything other than just foul it off and protect himself. Hinsdale ready to go. Here's the 1-1. Outside, he thought he had a corner, but it will be a ball, so the count goes to 2-1. Hinsdale working quickly. Here comes the 2-1. That pitch is fouled off over my head, and the count goes to 2-2. Nice little battle going on here between the twos as Hinsdale and Joust get things going here in Clymer. 2-2 count. Joust back in the box. Hinsdale turns and fires. Swing and a miss, and he'll sit down Joust for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up their second baseman, number 17, and that is Clayton Smith, the junior. He'll step into the box, a big, tall guy, and he'll get ready to face Bryce Hinsdale. 1 out here in the first. A strikeout by Joust to get things started. Hinsdale shakes off the sign from White, and now comes set. And that pitch was just a bit outside for ball 1. Hinsdale ready to go. There's the pitch. Strike there. And the first one was called a strike. I called it a ball. It certainly was very close to the line. So I believe the count is 0-2 now. And here's the pitch. And that'll be strike 3. That one's looking. And now Hinsdale dealing as he takes out 2 to start the inning. Here comes the pitcher for the Eagles. Also their number 3 batter. That's Devin Hughes, the pitcher. And Hughes stepping in now to face Bryce Hinsdale, who struck out 2 on just 8 pitches. That's a strike there. So 9 pitches into the Bryce Hinsdale inning and looking pretty sharp so far. He turns and fires. High and outside on that one, and the count goes to 1-1. Hughes back in the box. Hinsdale's ready. He turns and fires. Hughes gets a piece towards second. Johnny Abers is there. He fields it. The throw to first is in time, and the side is retired. Quick work of the Eagles in the first for Bryce Hinsdale as he gets the job done, and the Wolfpack now will get a chance with the sticks. We'll be right back after this word from our sponsor on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned, Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
When the game is on the line, championship teams know the game plan. They communicate and work together to win. We all need a game plan to protect ourselves online. Talk to family and friends so they know how to stay safe too. Create strong passwords, turn on multi-factor authentication, update software, and recognize and report phishing, because online safety is not something you want to fumble. Get more game-winning tips at CISA.gov/secure-our-world. Then share them with family and friends.
Support for CSP Wolfpack baseball coverage is provided in part by Tina Dills, ERA Team VP licensed real estate agent, serving the Wolfpack listening area and all of Chautauqua County with real estate services for buyers, sellers, vacation rentals, and all relocation needs. For more information on how to get your move going, Tina can be reached at 716-397-7790. Tina Dills and the ERA Team VP agents wish the Wolfpack the best of luck.
Corry's only locally operated radio station is Channel 98.9. With your eerie weather, your favorite personalities.
Thank you so much for joining us on a Monday.
You see today local news, entertainment, and information around the clock. And Corry's Modern Rock. Channel 98.9, your one radio station.
And welcome back into Clymer as the Wolfpack make quick work of the Eagles' bats in the bottom of the top of the first as Bryce Hinsdale was dealing there. And now they'll have a chance with the bats, led off by Gavin Burchanowski here as soon as the warm-up pitches for Hughes are complete. As I mentioned previously, win yesterday against Maple Grove, Chautauqua Lake today, and then the Wolfpack will play at Pine Valley Saturday, weather appropriate. We'll have Brockton on Thursday, and then Saturday the 3rd, so next Saturday, they will be playing against Southwestern. Again, weather approving all those games. The other thing we want to mention is that Saturday, or May 3rd, that Saturday, will be the first time in at least 12 years, I think, possibly 15, that there has been a pit road show at State Line Speedway. That will be hosted here on the 98.9 Sports Stream. So tune in Saturday evening on May 3rd for the first pit road show in 15 years. Back here in Clymer, though, it is a 0-0 game going into the bottom of the first. The Wolfpack made quick work of the Eagles in the top half, and now they'll get their first at bat. Not a whole lot of pitches thrown. 9, 10, 11 pitches, 12 pitches thrown by Bryce Hinsdale, and he strikes out 2 and gets 1 to ground out to get out of the inning. Ready to get things started here in the bottom half. Hughes on the mound. And Burchanowski now stepping in. Nowicki set behind the plate for the Eagles. And here's Hughes' first pitch. High above Burchanowski's head for ball 1. That one hit the backstop right here in front of us. Make sure it didn't knock our camera too far off. Second pitch fouled off over the backstop. Just give me just a moment to fix the camera here, folks. And the third pitch hits the batter. That'll put Burchanowski on base. And I promise I will get this camera sorted here. Burchanowski advancing to second on that play. All right, we got the camera back in a decent position. Shows bunt, gets it down. Hinsdale's going to reach first. Oh, just a step behind that. Very quick throw. Hughes made a nice play there. Burchanowski moved over to third. Nice little sacrifice bunt there from Hinsdale. That'll bring up Tate Catney. He's a 1 out and a runner on third. There's the pitch, and that's in there for strike one. Tate yesterday was 1 for 2 with 2 walks. There's the pitch. He fouls that one off back to the backstop. The count goes to 0-2. So now a protect count for Tate Catanese here, down 0-2. Hughes checks the runner, comes set. Here's the pitch. Catanese sends it right back past Hughes. That's going to be a base knock, and it will score the runner as Burchanowski reaches home on the Catanese single, and the Wolfpack take the early lead. Very nice start there for the Wolfpack. A nice sacrifice bunt from Hinsdale to move the runner over into scoring position, and then the single from Catanese right back up the middle to score the run. Ideal small ball from the pack there. Andrew Spiesman now at the plate. That pitch is outside, and I keep calling Andrew Michael. Tate advances to second on the wild pitch. And Andrew, big time bat yesterday for the Wolfpack, getting things done offensively. He's trying to do that again today. And with Catanese moving to second into scoring position, he has an opportunity to pick up another RBI here. A 1-0 count. Hughes' pitch. Fouled off. And Spiesman a little bit late to that one. Otherwise, that thing had a lot of power on it, and he was able to foul it back into the backstop nicely. Hughes checks the runner. That's Catanese. He fires one inside, and Spiesman will take it for the ball. So 2-1 the count. Max White on deck for the Wolfpack. Here's the pitch. Low and outside. And Catanese takes off for third. And a close call at third, but he gets it done. So Tate steals third. And now another runner on third situation for the Wolfpack. Wolfpack not afraid to run on this catcher. And Nowicki did not see that one coming. He popped up late, but he did make a good throw on the play. Almost got him. Nice piece from Spiesman right back at the second baseman. Fielded cleanly there. Over to first for the out. Catanese will score on the play. So a sacrifice ground out for Spiesman. And that'll bring up Max White with a 2-0 lead for the Wolfpack. So Max, the freshman catcher, we talked about him a little bit earlier, doing a really good job of stopping the baseball as a freshman. It's a tough position to play at the varsity level as a freshman. Here's the first pitch to him. High and outside for ball one. Max at the plate yesterday. Did have a walk and a double, as well as a strikeout and a ground out. And that pitch is high for ball two. Devin Hughes set now. Turns and fires. And that pitch is low and inside. So White now will wait for the 3-0 pitch. Hughes a little frustrated, trying to settle down and get things done here in the first. Here's the pitch. Big swing and a miss from Max White. And the count goes to 3-1. Hughes comes set. Here's the 3-1. High above the head, and White will advance on the walk. And that'll bring up Isaiah Burkholder, who had a fantastic day yesterday. 3 for 4 with 3 singles and a huge part of the Wolfpack offense. He'll look to stay hot today as he steps in the 6th hole here for the Wolfpack. 2 out, 2 in, 1 on for the Pack here in the bottom of the first. Pitch is outside. White goes. The throw is there, but it's behind him, and White is safe at second. Burkholder getting back in the box now, ahead 1-0. And with White on second, Hughes will check in before throwing. There's the throw, And a piece of that one right back to second base. The throw is in time to end the inning, so Burkholder will ground out, and the Wolfpack side is retired. But not before putting 2 runs on the board and taking an early lead here over Chautauqua Lake. We'll be right back after this word from our sponsors on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
Support for Wolfpack baseball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided by Countertop Solutions in Clymer. Go Wolfpack from Countertop Solutions.
CSP baseball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided in part by Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing and Air Conditioning, located at 147 East Main Street in Corry. They offer residential and light commercial new services, as well as electrical repairs, well pumps, and water conditioning systems. Phone 814-665-6034. Online at flicksheatingplumbingandac.com.
School sports are played by humans, coached by humans, and officiated by humans. So the next time you're sitting in the stands at a school athletic event, please remember this and maintain your humanity, especially when it comes to judging and critiquing athletes, coaches, and officials. Please show your fellow humans some respect. They'll appreciate your empathy.
This message presented by NISFA and the New York State Athletic Administrators Association.
And welcome back into Clymer, New York, the home opener for the CSP Wolfpack as they face the Chautauqua Lake Eagles. And the score after 1 inning, 2-0 Wolfpack, after some pretty nice offense led off by a hit by pitch by Gavin Burchanowski, a sacrifice bunt by Bryce Hinsdale, a single by Tate Catnese, and then a sac ground out by Michael Spiesman to score Catnese, and then Max White was walked before Burkholder ground out to end the inning. Wolfpack looked pretty sharp offensively in that inning. If they can keep that going, they could be back in the same situation as yesterday, 10-plus run kind of day. Meanwhile, the Chautauqua Lake Eagles, not a great start, 2 strikeouts and a ground out, and they're getting ready to go here in the second as Hinsdale's ready to start this thing off. And here comes the first pitch, swung and a miss. And the shortstop Henry is quickly behind, 0-1. Henry, the 4-hitter, wearing number 3 for the Eagles. Hinsdale turns and fires. Henry gets a piece of that one. It's going to go to left center. It's going to drop in there. Burkholder gets to the ball as Henry reaches first, and he'll prevent anything more. But a single there for Henry, and that'll be the first damage done to Hinsdale today. Up next for the Eagles, the first baseman, Blackman. He prepares to step into the box as Nate Henry's single is the first bit of offense today for the Eagles. We're waiting for Henry to put on his running gloves instead of his batting gloves, which he traded out. And now we're ready. Blackman in the box. Hinsdale checking the sign, and now the runner. There's the pitch outside. They were trying to set up the runner for a steal there. However, the runner did not go. So the count will go to 1-0 against Blackman. Blackman stepping back in now. Bryce checks the runner. Here's the pitch. Inside, and that'll be ball 2. Bryce Hinsdale now working with that runner on, trying to rein the ball in a little bit. He's thrown 2 balls so far in this at bat, and we'll see what he comes here with the 2-0. He's going to step off and throw to first. Hold that runner Henry right there and start it all over again. So I mentioned in the first that Bryce worked very quickly. He's still working very quickly even with a runner on, not wasting a whole lot of time. And here comes the 2-0. That one bounces in front of the plate. The runner takes off. Max White chasing the ball. Runner is into second without a problem. And Max able to chase that one down, prevent any further damage, but Henry does advance on the wild pitch. So now Blackman facing a 3-0 count. And Hinsdale will have to reel this one back in. Henry on second. Here's the pitch. It catches the corner, and Hinsdale stays alive here in this at-bat. 3-1 now the count. No outs. 1 on here in the top of the second. 2-0 Wolfpack. Hinsdale's pitch right down Main Street to load up the count. And they must have had Blackman on the take there because he didn't even look at that pitch, and it came right down the middle. Now it'll be a full count to Blackman. Hinsdale checks the runner, and here's the payoff pitch. Blackman swings. He gets one down on the right side. Bryce fields it. He fires to first, gets it to Tate in time for the out, and the runner unable to advance because of where the ball bounced, and they'll hold him at second. So a meaningful defensive play there by Bryce Hinsdale, and the first out of the inning. That'll bring up the catcher for the Eagles, number 5, Nowicki. He'll step in with Henry on second and 1 out here in the top of the second. Watching the Wolfpack do a little bit of movement in the infield to try to catch the runner leading off too far. Johnny Abers checking that runner, and here's the first pitch of the at-bat. Hit right back at Abers over his head. That's going to be a base knock to right center. Henry turns the corner at third, and the cutoff is going to happen at second. They can't get him. Henry will score for the Eagles on the single from Nowicki. So an RBI single there for Nowicki brings home the first run of the day for the Eagles. And they are now down 2-1 in this one. The right fielder, Wellman, number 6, will step in and with Nowicki on first and 1 out here in the inning. So Henry got it started with a single and then was able to score after the single from Nowicki. And now they'll have Wellman. First pitch from Bryce, swung on and missed, strike 1. Hinsdale trying to roll this inning back in without any more damage. The 0-1 pitch. Swung on and missed, and the count goes to 0-2. Max White up quickly to hold the runner at first. And Nowicki was not moving on that one. Time called by the batter, Wellman, and now he's back in the box and ready to go. Small lead for Nowicki. Bryce checks him anyway. Here comes the 0-2. Swung and missed. Strikeout there. And there's 2 down for Bryce Hinsdale here in the second. Up next will be Crandall, the third baseman. He's going to step in now with 2 outs and 1 on in a 2-1 baseball game. Hinsdale gets his sign. He's going to throw over to first and hold Nowicki back. Nowicki didn't have a huge lead, but I think Bryce is just keeping him honest with that check and pulling him back to the bag. And here we go. Hinsdale gets the sign once again. Checks Nowicki, who's only got a 2-step lead now, and he steps off. Holding Nowicki nice and close to first, and taking control of the clock here, kind of moving things at his own pace. Gets his sign. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Max White again up quickly and off to the right side so he could make a throw to second if need be. And Nowicki had nothing cooking that time. He'll stay at first. The count 0-1 now. Here's Bryce's pitch. Swung and a miss. And Max White fires to first behind the runner, but not a bad check there to see if they can get Nowicki getting too far off the bag. Bryce ahead 0-2 now in this top of the second. Wolfpack leads 2-1 with 2 outs here. Runner on first. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, and it's going to be a drop, strike 3. They get it over there in time to Tate, and the side is retired. So 2 more Ks there for Bryce. He's up to 4 strikeouts on the day. He did give up the run to Henry, and the game is now 2-1, but the Wolfpack will get their bats back out here in the bottom of the second right after this word from our sponsors here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Coverage of CSP Wolfpack Baseball is brought to you in part by Caflisch Pallet and Wood Services in Clymer, a leading provider of new, heat-treated, and recycled pallets and wood services since 1993. Find them online at caflischpallet.com. Phone 716-355-4354. Caflisch Pallet and Wood Services wishes the Wolfpack the best of luck this season.
Support for Wolfpack Baseball on the Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided by Mosher Carpeting at 8631 East Main Street in Clymer. Mosher's has carpeting and all types of flooring, serving the area for over 27 years. Online at mosherscarpeting.com.
Support for coverage of CSP Baseball on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided by Triple E Manufacturing in Sherman. Triple E offers equine products, promotional items, embroidery, and printing services. 800-295-4282 or online at tripleemanufacturing.com.
Wolfpack Baseball on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided in part by Necker's Company General Store, providing Clymer with groceries, apparel, gift items, and so much more for over 100 years. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Necker's Company General Store for their support. Funding for this broadcast on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided in part by J. Edwards Insurance. With offices at 9 East Main Street in Panama and 800 West 3rd Street in Jamestown, J. Edwards Insurance is an independent insurance service providing auto, business, farm, and homeowners insurance. We treat you like family. Online at jedwardsinsurance.com. Best of luck to the Wolfpack this season from J. Edwards Insurance, serving New York and Pennsylvania since 1957.
And we're back here live in Clymer as the Wolfpack lead 2-1 against Chautauqua Lake as we head to the bottom of the second inning. And the Wolfpack, so far, Bryce Hinsdale's thrown 27 pitches, 12 in the first inning, 15 in the second. And so far for the Chautauqua Lake Eagles in the first, they had 18 pitches from Devin Lewis. Wolfpack ready to get things started here. Brady Phelps, the left fielder, hitting in the 7-hole, will lead off this inning. Devin Hughes back on the mound, the junior for the Eagles. And we saw the Wolfpack wanted to run a little bit on Nowicki, the catcher, in the first inning. We'll see if that continues here as Phelps gets ready for his first at bat. The pitch catches the corner for strike one. Phelps watching, waiting. Here comes Hughes' pitch. He takes a big cut and misses. Count goes to 0-2. So an exciting start to this one. 2-1 is the score. Wolfpack put up 2 in the first, and the Eagles add 1 in the second. Here's Hughes, 0-2. And that one almost hit him. So it'll be ball 1. And the count goes to 1-2. Caleb Anderson on deck for the Wolfpack. Here's the pitch. Strike 3. Brady Phelps goes down looking, and Caleb Anderson now at the plate. Quick K for Hughes. First pitch to Anderson. Low and outside for ball 1. Here we go. The 1-0. Low and inside. And it's 2-0. Count for Hughes. He fires. Catches the corner there against Anderson. And the count goes to 2-1. On deck for the Wolfpack, Johnny Abers, the second baseman. But back to this at bat. It's 2-1. And that pitch is outside. Count goes to 3-1 for Anderson. Hughes has thrown a fair amount of balls so far, having a hard time catching that outside corner. Here's the pitch. Anderson, big cut and a miss, and the count goes full. We'll see if Hughes can dial in that outside pitch. It's the breaking ball breaking away that he's having trouble with. Here's the pitch on the full count, way above everybody's head, and he'll walk Anderson. So that brings up the freshman Johnny Abers, the second baseman who's made some really nice plays in the field so far this season. Johnny looking to contribute at bat. In the last game against Maple Grove, he did walk twice and ground out once. Abers getting in the box. He'll have Anderson on first, so a duck on the pond with 1 out here in the second. Here's the pitch. Low and outside for ball one. Wolfpack checking Coach Hare for the sign. And now Abers steps in. Anderson a small lead off first. Now getting that extra few steps. A pitch outside from Hughes is ball two. Hughes settling in now. Abers ready for the 2-0 pitch, and here it comes from Hughes. Low and outside once again, and the count goes to 3-0. And Anderson thought about it for a second, decided better of it, and stayed at first. And now it'll be a 3-0 count. Have to imagine the stop sign on here for Johnny Abers. Here's the 3-0, and he takes it right down the middle of the plate, and the count goes 3-1. Abers back in the box now. We'll see what Hughes can do with a 3-1 count. Hughes comes set. Here's the pitch. Low and outside, and he'll walk Abers. That'll bring us back to the top of the Wolfpack lineup as Burchanowski will be up next. And Gavin, the shortstop, has a hit by pitch in the first inning. Now he'll see what he can do here in the second. He's got 2 on and 1 out here in the second, as Phelps started off with a strikeout and then 2 walks to put 2 runners on the plate, on the bags. First pitch shows a bunt and then pulls it back for the ball. So the count goes 1-0. Burchanowski ready to go here. The 1-0 pitch. Low in the dirt. And the count goes to 2-0. And timeout from the dugout for the Eagles. They're going to go have a talk with Devin Hughes out on the mound as he's walked 2 batters and he's quickly behind 2-0 here to Burchanowski. What he doesn't want is to load the bases for Hinsdale and Catneys. So his coach will have a quick word with him to try to rein him back in and make sure that he gets something positive done for himself here without putting himself in a terrible situation for the remainder of the inning. The Wolfpack bats obviously hoping the opposite happens. Taking a look at the league right now, as I mentioned during the pregame show, the Wolfpack sit in the middle of the CCAA Division II. They're currently in 5th place behind Frewsburg, who's 2-0, Cassadaga Valley, who's 1-0 in league, Brockton, who's 1-0 in league, Chautauqua Lake, who's 1-0 in league. Then there's the Wolfpack at 1-1 in league. Still too early for those rankings or standings to really matter a whole lot, and we're ready to get back to baseball. 2-0 pitch, and he brushes Burchanowski back. Probably would have hit him again if Burchanowski hadn't gotten out of the way. So 3-0 have to assume that the Wolfpack are looking to take a 3rd walk in a row here. Hughes going to try to prevent that from happening here. He's going to throw to second, and he got the runner leading too far, and they'll get Anderson at second. Anderson had just a little bit too big of a lead, and the shortstop got back well before him, and he is out there at second base. So 2 down now in the second, but still Abers on first, and a 3-0 count to Burchanowski. Here's the pitch. Ball 4. Burchanowski takes his base. And other than the fact that they got a second out, right back in the same situation, 2 on, and here comes Bryce Hinsdale. The big lefty bat for the Wolfpack hitting in the 2-hole. He gets ready to have an option to try to make some offense happen here. He's yesterday was 1 for 2. Ball 1 to him. They try to get Abers at third. He's there. They then look at second as Burchanowski moves up. Nothing happening for either, and the Wolfpack move both runners up on that ball. So now 2 runners in scoring position for Hinsdale. So as I mentioned, Bryce 1 for 2 yesterday with a walk and a single. He has an opportunity now for a couple RBIs if he can get a piece of one of these. A 1-0 count. Here's the pitch. Low and outside for ball 2. You do have first base open if you're Hughes, but do you really want to walk Hinsdale to get to Catneys? I'm not sure that's a great idea. 2-0. Here's the pitch. Catches the corner. Very nice pitch on the outside edge. And the count's 2-1. 2 out, 2 on for Bryce Hinsdale. Pitch is outside, and that's ball 3. So a 3-1 count now for Bryce. Going to force Hughes to have to come back to him or walk him. Here's the pitch. Right down the middle. Bryce grabs a piece to left field. That's going to drop in there for a hit. They'll score 1. They're going to send the second. And Berchanowski's home safely. And Bryce goes for second. He dives under the throw, and he's safe there. Huge hit for Bryce Hinsdale. 2 RBIs and a very nice play at second base as the Wolfpack extend their lead. Bryce Hinsdale gets it done at bat, and he will help himself out with some run support there. And changing his gloves now to his running glove as opposed to his batting gloves. And we'll get to take Katniss' at bat. A 4-1 Wolfpack lead. After that, 2 RBI single. A single and a stolen base for Bryce on that. And we're going to get time now. Bryce taking a real healthy lead there before the time. He was actually standing directly in front of the shortstop, almost daring Hughes to try to come back to second. And now we're ready to go. Katniss in the box. Here's the pitch. That one's low and outside for ball 1. Wolfpack leading 4-1. 2 outs here in the second. There's the pitch. And that's going to be called a strike. I thought the pitch was further outside than the last one. Count goes to 1-1. He'll check Hinsdale at second. And now Hughes fires way outside. Hinsdale's going to take off for third. They're going to make a throw, but it's well behind and actually bounces off him. Third baseman able to corral to prevent the run home. So the runner moving up to third base, and Katniss now going to be in a situation where he has an opportunity to bring home a run as well. Hughes trying to get out of this inning. Here's the pitch. And that was over the head of Katniss. So the count goes to 3-1. Hinsdale halfway home on that pitch, by the way. So watch him stealing home here potentially if the ball gets past the catcher. Hughes turns and fires. And he'll walk Katniss on this pitch. And that'll bring up Spiesman. Andrew Spiesman, the third baseman. Big day yesterday. He's had some great plays in the field as well. And his big bat in the cleanup spot now has runners on the corners with 2 outs here in the second. Spiesman steps in. Hughes checks Katniss at first. Here's the pitch. Spiesman gets a piece of it. It looks like it's going to trail foul. The right fielder chasing after it but can't get there, and that'll be a foul ball. Right fielder made a nice play chasing that ball down. Came up about 3 steps short of being able to actually make that play. So what is that? That is a 260-foot strike, and we'll set up and go again. Max White on deck for the Wolfpack. And real quickly going to change baseballs here. Get Devin Hughes a fresh one. And then he will pitch to Andrew Spiesman. Spiesman back in the box now. And here's the pitch. Low and inside, and the count goes to 1-1. 1-1 count, runners on the corners. A 4-1 lead for the Wolfpack with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. Nice lead for Katniss off first. They're going to check him, and the ball comes way behind him. Katniss back safely by about 2 steps, but he did have a very big lead considering the first baseman was still on the bag. And that Hughes trying to maintain his composure here with these 2 fast runners on the bags. Here's the pitch to Spiesman in the dirt outside. Katniss takes off. He's going to get to second easily. And Hinsdale helped make that happen by taking off towards home and then pausing to catch, to basically just hold the catcher and prevent him from making a throw to second base. So now 2 in scoring position for Spiesman. The count 2-1. And they're going to intentionally walk Spiesman, right? So Spiesman walks. And here comes the freshman Max White with the bases loaded here in the second. A chance to do some real damage to the Eagles if he can get a piece of one. Clutch situation for the freshman catcher. We'll see what he does with it. Hughes has no bases left to give. First pitch over White's head for ball one. Hughes ready. Here comes the 1-0. That one catches the corner on the outside edge, and it's 1-1. Exciting moment here in this game with 2 outs and the bases loaded for freshman Max White. Here's the 1-1. White takes a big cut and comes up empty, and the count goes to 1-2. Two outs, bases loaded. 1-2 pitch from Hughes. And they call that a strike as he got the outside corner to drop. And that'll end the inning for the Wolfpack. A strikeout looking for Max White. And the pack goes down, but not before doing some damage as they add 2 more and take a 4-1 lead after 2 innings here in Clymer. Another word from our sponsor here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Utegg's Body Shop in Corry is helping to bring you this broadcast. Along with collision repair and refinishing, Utegg offers frame straightening services. Located at 633 East Smith Street in Corry. Utegg's Body Shop.
Man, I loved playing high school sports growing up. And it's fun being a fan now, don't get me wrong, but sitting in the stands feels like I'm missing out on all the action, you know? I wanted to get back in the game, so I signed up to be a high school official. It takes me back to my playing days. I'm supporting students, and I get paid to make the big calls. Do you want to see the game up close? Sign up to become an official in New York at highschoolofficials.com.
Support for coverage of CSP baseball action on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream comes from JH Napa Auto Parts. Your local Napa store stocks auto parts, tools and equipment, and other items for heavy-duty trucks, marine, and farming equipment. Located at 955 North Center Street in Corry and NapaOnline.com.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
And welcome back into Clymer, New York, where the Wolfpack's home opener is well underway as we get to the top of the third. Wolfpack leading 4-1. And that inning saw Devin Hughes for the Eagles throw 38 pitches, taking his total pitch count to 56 so far after just 2 innings of play. In comparison, after 2 innings, Bryce Hinsdale at 27 total pitches. Hinsdale ready to get things started here in the top of the third, and leading off for Chautauqua Lake will be their 9-hole hitter, their left fielder Emery. And Emery getting ready to step in to get this third inning started. He is now ready to go on the first pitch. Going to be a ball. And we wait for Bryce. Here comes the pitch. Outside for ball 2. 2-0 the count now. Emery in the box. Here's Hinsdale's delivery, and a swing and a miss for strike 1. A 2-1 count. A 1-2 count. Swing and a miss, and the batter goes down swinging. That's strike 3. And they'll take us to the top of the Chautauqua Lake order. And their leadoff batter, Jaus. He's their center fielder. And the freshman stepping in now after the strikeout by Emery. And he will face Hinsdale. Hinsdale turns and fires outside for ball 1. The count now 1-0. Bryce shakes off the sign, shakes it off again, and a third time. Takes the fourth option from White, and here we go, and now he'll step off. And everyone back in place to get it started again here with the 1-0 pitch. Bryce likes the first one this time, and here's the pitch. Swung on to the third baseman. Spiesman snatches it, the fires to first. The pit throw is behind the runner, though, and Joust will beat it out and be on first. We're going to rule that one as single. It was a slow dribbler to third, and I don't think Spiesman misplayed the ball at all. So we're going to say that just had the time for the runner to get there, very much like Isaiah Burkholder's first single yesterday against Maple Grove, one that died in the infield grass. And the batter switching gloves. Now that that's done, we'll get ready to go here with their second hole, and that's Clay Smith, the second baseman. So runner on first and one out here in the third. Hinsdale gets the sign and checks the runner. Here's the pitch. Hit right towards first, and a diving play cannot be made there by Tate Katniss, but it's called foul. Kenny's very frustrated he didn't get to that one, but he took a huge dive from about 3 steps to the left of first base, all the way to the other side of the bag, and almost snagged the ball, but comes up just shy. Count 0-1 now to Smith. Play back in the box now. 1 out, 1 on, and Hinsdale's ready to go. There's the pitch, and he cabs the corner on that one. So the count now 0-2. Max White getting set. Giving the sign to Hinsdale. Hinsdale says, why not? Checks his runner. And here's the pitch outside for ball 1. Wolfpack ready to go defensively behind Hinsdale with a runner on first and 1 out. Here's the pitch. Swung on towards third base, and Spiesman can't get to it. It's going to get through to left field. That'll be a base knock. And the runner only moves to second, but an overthrow at third, and the Wolfpack all scramble as the runners advance. The overthrow coming in from the outfield, and that allowed the runners to advance to second and third. The pitcher, Devin Hughes, will come up to bat now with 2 runners in scoring position and 1 out here in the third. Hughes trying to give himself some run support, as Hinsdale did in the last half inning. Really a nice little single there from Clay Smith, as that one was just out of reach for the third baseman. Spiesman tried to make some range and get over to it, but it was just too far to get to from his starting position close to the bag. Hinsdale going to try and get this thing back under control with runners in scoring position. Here's the first pitch to Hughes outside for ball 1. Joust on third, Smith on second. Here's the pitch, swung on right towards first base. Play made by Katniss. He's going to throw it home to White. White makes the tag, and he's out at the plate. Joust is out on the fielder's choice there. Nice play by Katniss, getting the ball back to the plate to prevent the run from scoring. So 2 down now for the Pack, and Henry will step in, the shortstop, cleanup batter. His first at bat was a single, and he eventually scored for the Chautauqua Lake Eagles. Now he'll step in with runners on the corners and 2 outs here in the third. A little time on the field. And now everyone back in position. We're ready to get going. 4-1 still the lead for the Wolfpack here in the top of the third. Bryce trying to get himself out of trouble, as Hinsdale has now put himself into a situation where he's going to give up a hit to center field, and that will score 1, and they're going to field the ball and get it in pretty quickly and hold the runner at third, but that does score Smith, and Hughes will advance to third on the Henry single to right center. So after the fielder's choice allowed Hughes to get aboard, Smith was able to get over to third and then come home on that single. And there's runners first and third right now for Blackman. Bryce needs to get out of this jam here, so he'll try to work his way out. Score is now 4-2 Wolfpack. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Max White up quickly to check the runners, and no one's going anywhere. Hughes on third. Here's the pitch. That one down in the dirt. Hughes thinks about it. He's not going anywhere, but Henry will advance to second untouched. And now there's two in scoring position. 1-1 count for Blackman. Here with 2 outs and 2 in scoring position. Trailing 4-2, and Hinsdale asks for a new baseball. New baseball in hand. Bryce is ready to go. The umpire retakes his position, and we're ready for the 1-1 pitch. Here it comes. High, and that'll go 2-1. Matt Hare trying to have a conversation with Bryce from the coaching box. Make sure that he's calm and trying to get out of this inning. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Outside for ball 3. Now, Bryce does have first base open, so he could certainly walk Blackman here and move on to the catcher, Nowicki. But Nowicki had a single in his last at bat, so maybe not the guy you're looking to get to with bases loaded. 3-1 to Blackman. Here's the pitch. Outside, and Blackman will take his base. So bases loaded now for Nowicki. And Nowicki will take a walk down towards third to talk to his coach. And Matt Hare wants to have a conversation with Bryce Hinsdale on the mound, as this is a crucial situation. After the Wolfpack extended their lead in the bottom of the second, they've now allowed Chautauqua Lake to close it to 4-2, and with the bases loaded, have an opportunity to cut into that lead even more. Coach Hare content with his conversation with Hinsdale. He'll head back to the dugout, and now the batter coming back from third base as well. We're getting ready to go back to action here in a very precarious situation for Bryce Hinsdale. Nowicki, the catcher, singled in his last at bat on the first pitch. He's now in the box. Hinsdale winds and fires. Nowicki gets a piece of it back towards the shortstop, fielded cleanly there. They'll flip it to second for the out and get out of the inning. Nice heads-up play there by the Wolfpack, and they escape that without any further damage. A ground out to the shortstop. And with that, we'll take you to another quick word from our sponsors here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned, Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
Financial support for this broadcast of CSP Baseball Play-by-Play on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided in part by Stone Audiology at 709 East Columbus Avenue in Corry. Also in Bradford, Northeast, and Kane, Pennsylvania, in Jamestown, Olean, Belmont, and Chaffee, New York. Phone 814-664-7070. Online at stoneaudiology.com.
CSP Wolfpack Baseball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is brought to you in part by Troyer's Greenhouse, now open for the season Monday through Saturday. Troyer's Greenhouse is located at 1669 Weeks Road, just 2 miles west of Panama. Go Wolfpack from Troyer's Greenhouse.
Coverage of Wolfpack Baseball on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided in part by Whiteland Surveying in Clymer, providing land surveys for Chautauqua and Cattaraugus counties in New York and Erie, Warren, and Crawford counties in Pennsylvania. Phone 716-499-8410. Find them online at mwhitepls.com. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Whiteland Surveying for their support.
And welcome back to Clymer, New York. A 4-2 baseball game after 2.5 innings. The Wolfpack still leading the way, and their bats will get a chance to extend that lead here in the bottom of the third. After that third inning, 19 pitches in that inning for Bryce Hinsdale takes him to 46 total on the game after 3, which is still less than Hughes has thrown through 2 innings, which is 56. So he's 10 pitches fewer through an extra inning. Hughes getting warmed up now to get this third inning underway for the defensive side for the Eagles. And the Wolfpack bats ready to get it going as well. Isaiah Burkholder will lead them off, the center fielder. Had a big day yesterday. So far today, a ground out in the first. And he will have an opportunity to amend that at bat here momentarily. Burkholder in the box. Quick mound visit from the infield to talk to Hughes. And now they'll head back to their positions and we get ready to go. Brady Phelps on deck for the Wolfpack. And here we go. So a 4-2 baseball game here. We get ready to start the bottom of the third. Burkholder, the leadoff man for the Wolfpack, hitting in the 6th spot. First pitch to him. Nearly hits him, ball 1. Hughes comes set. Here's the 1-0. And Burkholder gets a piece of it to the left side, gets past the third baseman, jumps off the shortstop's glove, and he's safely at first. And we're going to call that one a reach by error. That's going to be an error on the shortstop. But nonetheless, a base for Isaiah Burkholder. So he reaches by E6 for those of you that score baseball. Shortstop's error, and that'll bring up Brady Phelps, the left fielder. Throw back to keep Isaiah Burkholder close to first. He was only a few steps away, so I don't think that was a throw back to the pitcher well over his head, but Burkholder will make nothing of it and stay at first. Ball back in Hughes' hand now. We'll see if we get a first pitch to Phelps. Burkholder leading off. There's the pitch down in the dirt. Burkholder takes off for second. No throw. He's in there safely. Hughes threw that one in the dirt about a foot in front of the plate, and you can see some frustration on his face after that one. The 1-0 now. He checks Burkholder. Here's the pitch. Catches the corner for strike 1. And that's the definition of bearing down and throwing a strike right there by Devin Hughes. 1-1 count now. Here's the pitch. Inside for ball 2. Brady Phelps very patient, taking that pitch. And Nowicki, the catcher, came flying out of the box thinking that Burkholder may take a run for third, but he did not. And the ball's back to Hughes for the 2-1. Hughes pitch outside for ball 3. So a 3-1 count now with a runner on second and no outs here in the bottom of the third. Here's the pitch. Phelps turns and fouls that one off in front of the plate, and the count goes full. All right, Hughes going to have the full count pitch now to Phelps. Burkholder leading off second. Here's the payoff pitch, and it's low, and Phelps will walk, and that'll bring up McCaleb Anderson. Anderson, a walk in his first at bat, thrown out at second base with a big lead and getting caught there by Hughes. He now steps in with runners on first and second and no outs here in the third. First pitch from Hughes, and Anderson shows bunt. It comes in high and outside. He'll pull the bunt back. And we'll get ready to go again. Hughes focused on Burkholder at second. Anderson shows the bunt again, but pulls it back. The ball gets free. Both runners will advance for the Wolfpack. So now 2-0 to Anderson, who's shown bunt twice, and now he's got runners in scoring position. Will they take the bunt off here and let him swing the bat? That'll be the question. And a time for Chautauqua Lake. They're going to go out and have a conversation with Devin Hughes, who is a little frustrated on the mound right now, and a chance to get their infield together and have a conversation about how to handle this situation. Anderson, meanwhile, will have a chance to talk with Coach Hare after showing bunt 2 pitches in a row. Now whether or not he'll have the opportunity to take a swing at this one with a 4-2 lead. And 2 on and no out here in the third. As mentioned, Bryce Hinsdale doing a pretty good job today on the mound, working pretty efficiently. 12 pitches, 15 and 19. Even though he got into a little bit of trouble there in the third, was able to get out of that jam without giving up any more than 19 pitches. Less than a 20-pitch inning is typically considered working very efficiently. Mound visit over for Devin Hughes, and we're getting ready to get back to the action here. First baseman and Chautauqua Lake coach having a conversation in the infield about the only thing. Hughes is going to get yanked. That's what's going to happen here. They're going to switch to another pitcher. And it'll be number 3. And let me take a look at who that is in the roster. That's Nate Henry. He's the 4-hitter. He'll move into the pitching role. So that'll be it for Hughes. Hughes will move into a defensive role for the team. Still one of their best batters. And we'll tally up Henry's day. He gets through 2 innings. Gives up, has 2 strikeouts. Gives up 7 walks. And that's the reason for the hook at this point. As well as giving up 1 hit and 4 runs, but he's responsible for the runners, so he potentially could be up to 6 runs before this inning is over. Nate Henry, who was playing shortstop before the change, now ready to roll as they make this change mid-at-bat for McCaleb Anderson. Anderson had 2-0 in the count. And here we go. 2 runners in scoring position. Here's the pitch. And that one catches the inside corner. Anderson was taking that all the way. And the count goes to 2-1. Two 1 pitch. Anderson fouls it back, and the count goes to 2-2. So Burkholder reached by error earlier in the inning, and then a walk for Brady Phelps. That's how the 2 runners got aboard. And now Anderson trying to pick up some RBIs here in his second at-bat of the day. 2-2 count. Here's the pitch. Way outside, and the count goes full. Henry's pitch got away from him there, and it was about 1.5 feet, 2 feet outside of the strike zone. So now with a full count, we'll see what Henry brings to Anderson here in this big moment. Checking the runners. Here's the pitch. Anderson swings and misses and goes down with the strikeout. That'll bring up Johnny Abers. So now Johnny will step in with 1 out and 2 on. Johnny's first at bat was a walk back in the second. And he'll see what he can do here in the third. Henry's ready. Here's the pitch. Abers takes a big cut, comes up empty, and it's strike 1. And both runners getting their leads now. We get ready for the 0-1. Here's Henry's pitch, and that's called strike 2. Henry throwing what seems to be a little bit faster than what Hughes was throwing. I don't have a radar with me, but I would say 5 to 7 miles an hour faster. Here's the pitch. Outside for ball 1. And it goes 1-2. Abers trying to keep the offense going for the Wolfpack. Henry's pitch. They call the strikeout on the outside. And there's 2 down for the Wolfpack. Gavin Burchanowski now due up. He'll try to bring home these runs after 2 strikeouts. So the pitching change leading to 2 quick strikeouts for the Eagles. And they'll try to get a third here on Burchanowski. First pitch to Gavin. High and outside for ball 1. Burchanowski back in the box now, ready to go. Henry checks the runners, and here's the pitch. Low for ball 2. Bryce Hinsdale on deck for the Wolfpack as Gavin Burchanowski faces a 2-0 pitch. Here's the pitch. And that's a called ball. I thought that may have dropped in the strike zone, but not quite. So the count now 3-0 to Burchanowski. Here's the 3-0. Strike 1. And Burchanowski just taking that all the way, and that pitch right down Main Street, so the count goes to 3-1. Henry checking the runners. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Low in the dirt, he'll walk Burchanowski. And that'll bring up Bryce Hinsdale, who in his last at-bat had a big single that led to some runs for the Wolfpack. And he'll look to do that again here with the bases loaded with 2 outs here in the 3rd. Bryce in his pink and purple batting gloves. The lefty ready to go against Henry. Henry winds and fires. Inside ball 1. Bryce trying to give himself some more run support here in the 3rd. He was able to provide that for himself in the 2nd. And now he's ready for the 1-0. 1-0 pitch on its way outside. Going to get past the catcher, but both runners think better of it and go back to where they started. Nowicki made a nice hop off the dirt and got to where the ball was pretty quickly enough to hold the runners back. Bases loaded here. 2-0 count. Here's Henry winding, and here's the pitch. Bryce gets a piece of it right back to second. He'll have to beat that one out, and will not. It will. The ball gets past the first baseman, and that'll score a run. It'll score 2 runs. The first baseman drops the ball. Error on him, and Bryce Hinsdale gets 2 more runs in for the Wolfpack. So the error on the first baseman as he dropped that really routine play from second base, and that error will extend the Wolfpack lead to 6-2. Tate Catneys will be up next. Outfield shift being called in by the Chautauqua League dugout. Runners on the corners now for Tate with 2 outs here in the 3rd. Here we go. Henry and Catneys. First pitch, high and outside. Hinsdale takes off. A good throw from the catcher. Gets past the second baseman into the outfield. That will score a run. So Burchanowski comes home on that one on a wild throw. That really the throw was actually pretty good from Nowicki. It was not a good catch by the shortstop. The shortstop came over to try to make that play and was a little bit out of position and didn't ground the ball, allowing it to pop through. So now a runner on second for Catneys. That one inside. 2-0 now to Tate. A 7-2 ball game now. Here's the pitch. Inside and low for ball 3. And a 3-0 count now to Tate. Andrew Spiesman on deck. He walked in his last at-bat and singled in the first, did Tate. Spiesman, he had a sac ground out in the first and a walk in the second, so both guys dangerous. The 3-0. Nope, he's going to step off and throw back, keep Hinsdale at second. So do you walk Katniss to get to Spiesman? I don't know if either one is a good option. Here's the 3-0 to Katniss. Tate takes a huge cut at that pitch, comes up empty, and the count goes to 3-1. That was a home run swing there from Katniss if he connects with the ball. Henry checks the runner. Here's the 3-1. Thought about it, didn't take it. The runner takes off for third. He gets there safely. And Katniss walks on that pitch. And here comes Andrew Spiesman. Spiesman, the ground out sacrifice RBI in the first, and then a walk in the second. After a big day yesterday against Maple Grove, the number 4 hitter for the Wolfpack is ready to go. He has runners on the corners with 2 outs and a 7-2 lead here in the bottom of the third. Katniss taking a healthy lead off first. Henry checks him, and now he checks Hinsdale at third. And now he'll come home to Spiesman. There's the pitch. It's low. And the ball thrown right back at the pitcher as Katniss steals second. Nowicki's throwdown was kind of, I think he cut it off himself and just threw it right back to the pitcher. The 1-0. Swung on by Spiesman and drove into the parking lot or maybe even the tennis courts to the right side. 1-1. Henry trying to get out of this jam without any more damage. Takes a look at the 2 seniors on base, and there's the pitch to the third one. And Spiesman gets it down. The first baseman can't field it. That'll score 1. Here comes the throw. Katniss coming in safely. He'll score, and Spiesman advances to second on the wild throw home. Andrew Spiesman, a 2 RBI single there, and the Wolfpack have extended the lead now to 9-2. Freshman Max White up to bat next with a 9-2 lead, and Andrew Spiesman on second with a 2 RBI single that he just had a nice little knock there. The first baseman got to it, but it would have ate him up. There's no way that is an error. I don't think really anyone at the high school level is making that play. Strike 1 there to Max White. I thought that one appeared outside, but the call is a strike. The first 2 runs of this inning were Devin Hughes' responsibility. Everything since belongs to Nate Henry. The 0-1. High above the batter's head to go 1-1. Late swing from White, and it's strike 2. Henry comes ready now. The 1-2. Swing and a miss from White, and that'll end the inning. But not before the Wolfpack score 5 in the third and extend their lead to 9-2 here after 3 innings. We'll take a quick word from our sponsor here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
When the game is on the line, championship teams know the game plan. They communicate and work together to win. We all need a game plan to protect ourselves online. Talk to family and friends so they know how to stay safe too. Create strong passwords, turn on multi-factor authentication, update software, and recognize and report phishing, because online safety is not something you want to fumble. Get more game-winning tips at CISA.gov/secure our world. Then share them with family and friends.
Support for CSP Wolfpack baseball coverage is provided in part by Tina Dills, ERA Team VP licensed real estate agent, serving the Wolfpack listening area and all of Chautauqua County with real estate services for buyers, sellers, vacation rentals, and all relocation needs. For more information on how to get your move going, Tina can be reached at 716-397-7790. Tina Dills and the ERA Team VP agents wish the Wolfpack the best of luck.
Corry's only locally operated radio station is Channel 98.9. With your eerie weather, your favorite personalities.
Thank you so much for joining us on a Monday.
You see today local news, entertainment, and information around the clock. And Corry's Modern Rock. Channel 98.9, your one radio station.
Welcome back to Clymer, New York. A 9-2 baseball game as the Wolfpack got the bats going in all 3 innings so far. And that inning was off the new pitcher, Nate Henry, who came in, got 2 strikeouts, and then got a walk to Burchanowski, an error to Hinsdale, a walk to Katniss, and a single from Spiesman that scored some runs. Top of the 4th now, first pitch from Hinsdale, and that's a ball. Wellman, the batter for the Eagles. Devin Hughes ends up being on the hook for 6 runs. That one fouled off. Count goes to 1-1. So Hughes on the hook for 6 runs after only 2 innings pitched. And Nate Henry so far on the hook for 3 runs for the Eagles. A 1-1 count. Hinsdale's pitch. Gets the outside corner for strike 2. So Greg Wellman stepping back in. 1-2 pitch. Gets that one down low for a ball, and it goes to 2-2. We've mentioned a few times. There's the pitch, and it's hit right back towards the second baseman. Johnny Abers is on it. He grabs it, throws to first in time for the out, and that'll be a ground out to Abers to get this inning started. Nice play on that ball from Johnny Abers. He was kind of in a deep spot. He hooked himself to it, took a nice step to the ball, stood up calmly, threw a nice ball right to Tate Katniss' glove at first base for that first out. That'll bring up the 8-hole hitter Crandall, the third baseman. First pitch down in the dirt for ball 1. And working quickly is Hinsdale. Second pitch in the dirt for ball 2. And Max White had to chase that ball down. Otherwise, I think Hinsdale would already be in his next pitch. He was working very quickly before that. He's ready to go now. The 2-0. That one's in there for a strike. Swing and a miss for Crandall. And the count is now 2-1. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss by Crandall, and the count goes to 2-2. 9-2 baseball game. Ball hit foul to the right side. Katney is racing after it but can't get there. And Tate had that one tracked pretty well till he got all the way over by the fence and then he lost it. 2-2 to Crandall. Hinsdale shakes off the first 2 signs. He'll take the third. Here's the pitch. And Crandall strikes out swinging. That'll bring up Emery. His last at bat in the third, he struck out on 4 pitches. Emery, the left fielder. And 2 down here in the 4th for the Eagles. Here's the pitch from Hinsdale. Swing and a miss for Emery. Bryce ready to go already. The batter, the holdup now. He gets back in the box, and here's the pitch. Low for ball 1. Bryce working very quickly here in the 4th inning. Winds and fires. Swing and a miss by Emery, and that'll be strike 2. Ball there. 2-2 the count. 2 outs here in the fourth. Hinsdale gets the sign. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, and that's strike 3. Hinsdale, a 15-pitch inning. And the Wolfpack in pretty good shape now, leading 9-2 going into the bottom of the fourth. We'll take a quick word from our sponsor here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
Support for Wolfpack baseball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided by Countertop Solutions in Clymer. Go Wolfpack from Countertop Solutions.
CSP baseball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided in part by Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing and Air Conditioning, located at 147 East Main Street in Corry. They offer residential and light commercial new services, as well as electrical repairs, well pumps, and water conditioning systems. Phone 814-665-6034. Online at flicksheatingplumbingandac.com.
School sports are played by humans, coached by humans, and officiated by humans. So the next time you're sitting in the stands at a school athletic event, please remember this and maintain your humanity, especially when it comes to judging and critiquing athletes, coaches, and officials. Please show your fellow humans some respect. They'll appreciate your empathy.
This message presented by NISFA and the New York State Athletic Administrators Association.
Coverage of CSP Wolfpack Baseball is brought to you in part by Caflisch, Pallet, and Wood Services in Clymer, a leading provider of new, heat-treated, and recycled pallets and wood services since 1993. Find them online at caflischpallet.com. Phone 716-355-4354. Caflisch Pallet and Wood Services wishes the Wolfpack the best of luck this season.
And welcome back to Clymer, a 9-2 baseball game. After that inning, we have Bryce Hinsdale at 71 total pitches. Let me double check that. No, we have 61 total pitches. So 12, 15, 19, and 15 working very efficiently as Bryce threw 4. Now the CSP bats will have a chance at the bottom of the fourth, leading 9-2. And the 10-run rule would happen after the top of the fifth, if they happen to have that size lead. First pitch, and a piece of that by Burkholder towards the third baseman, foul, but he drops it, and it'll just be a long strike for Burkholder. Isaiah got lucky on that one. The third baseman was there in plenty of time, but dropped the ball. And Isaiah will get another chance with the stick. As I mentioned, the Wolfpack up 9-2 right now. If they happen to get a 10-run lead after five innings, they will have a 10-run rule victory, just like last night against Maple Grove. Burkholder back in the box. The 0-1 from Henry. Inside for ball 1. Now Burkholder ready to go. A 1-1 pitch from Henry incoming. Catcher sets up way outside, and that's where the pitch comes, but he grabs the corner. Strike 2. Henry comes set. Here's the pitch. Burkholder swings and misses, and he'll go down swinging for the first out of the inning. Brady Phelps due up now. Brady Phelps walked in the second, struck out in the third. Oh, I'm sorry. He struck out in the second, walked in the third. I switched those. First pitch to him is outside for ball 1. One out. 1-0 is the count. 9-2 the score. Here's the pitch. Foul ball. Phelps hit that one right into the dirt in front of the plate. Or on the plate. One now. Henry comes set. Here's the pitch. Way outside for ball 2. Henry comes set. Here's the pitch. Way inside for ball 3. And it looks like we're going to have a change on deck for the Wolfpack. I see Mason Groder is getting warm with a bat. Swing and a miss there for Phelps, and the count goes full. Full count. Here's the pitch. Phelps gets a piece. He's going to send it towards short. A slow dribbler. The shortstop fields it, fires to first in time, and Phelps is retired for the second out of the inning. So now the substitution, Mason Groder is the freshman, coming in for Caleb Anderson. Groder steps in the box for his first at bat of the day, here with 2 outs in the 4th. First pitch is outside for ball 1. Henry hoping for a quick inning here after throwing 30 pitches in his first inning. 1-0 to Groders. Mason swings and misses. Count goes to 1-1. Henry's ready, and here's the pitch. Groders gets a piece down the third base line, but it goes foul before the bag. That one dribbled foul, maybe 2 or 3 feet before the bag. Not a bad little piece from Mason Groders with the third baseman ranged over to the right side. He'll reset and get a 1-2 pitch from Henry. Henry's ready now. Here's the pitch. Outside, and Groders chases it. And that will be out number 3 for the Pack here in the 4th. And that'll end the 4th inning. Score 9-2 Wolfpack. Here's a quick word from our sponsors here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Coverage of CSP Wolfpack Baseball is brought to you in part by Caflisch Pallet and Wood Services in Clymer, a leading provider of new, heat-treated, and recycled pallets and wood services since 1993. Find them online at caflischpallet.com. Phone 716-355-4354. Caflisch Pallet and Wood Services wishes the Wolfpack the best of luck this season.
Support for Wolfpack Baseball on the Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided by Mosher Carpeting at 8631 East Main Street in Clymer. Mosher's has carpeting and all types of flooring, serving the area for over 27 years. Online at mosherscarpeting.com.
Support for coverage of CSP Baseball on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided by Triple E Manufacturing in Sherman. Triple E offers equine products, promotional items, embroidery, and printing services. 800-295-4282 or online at tripleemanufacturing.com.
Wolfpack Baseball on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided in part by Necker's Company General Store, providing Clymer with groceries, apparel, gift items, and so much more for over 100 years. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Necker's Company General Store for their support. Funding for this broadcast on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided in part by J. Edwards Insurance. With offices at 9 East Main Street in Panama and 800 West 3rd Street in Jamestown, J. Edwards Insurance is an independent insurance service providing auto, business, farm, and homeowners insurance. We treat you like family. Online at jedwardsinsurance.com. Best of luck to the Wolfpack this season from J. Edwards Insurance, serving New York and Pennsylvania since 1957.
Top of the 5th inning here in Clymer. First pitch is a strike to leadoff batter Joust. And Bryce Hinsdale so far having a pretty good game. We'll see if it continues here in the 5th inning. That pitch is going to be low for a ball. Taking the count to 1-1. Bryce at 61 pitches coming into this inning, working very efficiently. And he will try to continue that through this 5th inning. Here's the next pitch. Strike 2. Again, Bryce just coming right after the strike zone, wasting no time and delivering the pitch very quickly. Not a lot of time wasted once the ball's back in his hand. Here's another pitch from Bryce. A piece to the second baseman. Abers is there. He fields it, throws to first in time to Katniss, and the first batter is retired. That'll bring up the second baseman. Smith is the batter. He struck out in the first and walked in the third. And he'll be the second batter here in the 5th inning for the Eagles, who trail 9-2 in this game. Hinsdale's ready, and here's the first pitch. High for ball 1. That one got away from him, was up above the umpire's head. Max White jumps up and snatches it, brings it in, and no harm done there. 1-0 pitch. Swung on towards first base, that's foul. And the count goes to 1-1. They'll get the ball back in from the foul outfield on the right side, and Bryce Hinsdale now has the ball back in his hand. We'll wait for Smith to step back in the box and get this thing going with a 1-1 count. 1 out here in the top of the 5th. Hinsdale turns and fires, and a piece dribbled towards third base. Spiesman fires. Katniss makes the catch, and the runner is retired. 2 very nice plays in the infield, one by Johnny Abers and the second by Andrew Spiesman, and both catches made cleanly by Tate Katniss to retire the first 2 batters of the inning. So far in this inning, only 7 pitches thrown by Bryce Hinsdale. Up next will be Devin Hughes. He's kind of been the big bat for this team. He's hitting in the 3-hole. Ground out in the first and reached by fielder's choice in the second. He takes strike 1. Correction, he reached by fielder's choice in the third, not the second. Behind 0-1 now with 2 outs here in the 5th. Takes a swing at the outside pitch, sends it towards the shortstop. It's fielded there. The throw to first gets past Katniss, so Hughes now will stay at first. That is going to be an error on the throw, not on Katniss, and so the error will be awarded to Gavin Burchanowski. So that error puts Hughes on first, and we'll bring up the shortstop, Henry. And Hinsdale will wait for Max White, who's adjusting his helmet, and now we'll get ready to go as soon as they can get Henry in the box. Bryce checks the runner. There's the pitch inside for ball 1. So 2 out, 1 on for the Eagles here in the 5th. Pitch from Hinsdale. It's going to be called a strike. There's the throw down at second, just behind the runner. He's safe. A good throw from Max White. A nice catch by Johnny Abers, but even better base running by Devin Hughes to get to second safely. Henry now with a 1-1 count, steps back in with a runner on second, 2 outs. Hinsdale checks that runner, and here's the pitch. Inside for a ball. Count now 2-1. Wolfpack infield playing a mid-range depth. Here's the pitch. Low in the dirt. That's ball 3. And now a good pitch needed from Bryce Hinsdale. He'll face a 3-1 here with a runner on second and 2 outs. He'll check that runner. And now the pitch. Swung on and hit, pop up to left field. Tracking it and making the catch there is Brady Phelps. And the Wolfpack get out of the fifth with no harm done. Fly out to left field ends the inning. Phelps there to make a nice play, and we'll take another word from our sponsors here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Utegg's Body Shop in Corry is helping to bring you this broadcast. Along with collision repair and refinishing, Utegg offers frame straightening services. Located at 633 East Smith Street in Corry. Utegg's Body Shop.
Man, I loved playing high school sports growing up. And it's fun being a fan now, don't get me wrong, but sitting in the stands feels like I'm missing out on all the action, you know? I wanted to get back in the game, so I signed up to be a high school official. It takes me back to my playing days. I'm supporting students, and I get paid to make the big calls. Do you want to see the game up close? Sign up to become an official in New York at highschoolofficials.com.
Support for coverage of CSP baseball action on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream comes from JH Napa Auto Parts. Your local Napa store stocks auto parts, tools and equipment, and other items for heavy-duty trucks, marine, and farming equipment. Located at 955 North Center Street in Corry and NapaOnline.com.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
And welcome back to Clymer, a 9-2 baseball game as the Wolfpack handling business so far. A pitching change now for the Eagles. Clayton Smith, the junior, will take over for Nate Henry, who took over for Devin Hughes after 2 innings. So both pitchers for the Eagles so far getting through 2 innings of play. We're going to take a look quickly at Smith's numbers, but leading off for the Wolfpack this inning will be Johnny Abers, the freshman, second baseman, who made a nice play in the last inning defensively. And trying to reel in these numbers real quick on Henry. Five strikeouts for him. He's also responsible for 2 walks. And then, unfortunately, he's had 2 errors while he was out there that really kind of hurt him. He only gave up 1 hit and is responsible for those runs. He's going to be responsible for 3 runs. So a 9-2 ball game. Third pitcher for the Eagles now is Clayton Smith. And he is done warming up. We're ready to get it going here with Johnny Abers. Abers walked in the second, struck out in the third, and now he'll lead off the fifth for the Pack, leading 9-2. With the Eagles going to their third pitcher of the game here, you have to assume that they're trying to probably stave Nate Henry, as his pitch count was already jumping up to 44. And you don't want to get him too high. You can't use him again, so. And the first pitch is a ball to Abers. Smith throwing noticeably slower than Henry on that first pitch at least. The 1-0. In the dirt in front of the plate, and it goes to 2-0. Clayton Smith behind 2-0 to Johnny Abers. He winds and fires. Abers gets a huge piece towards left field. High can of corn for the left fielder, but he does come down with it, and that'll be the first out of the inning. Fly out to left field, and that'll bring up the top of the lineup for the Wolfpack with Gavin Burchanowski. Burchanowski hit by pitch in the first, walked in the second and third. Reached base 3 times without a hit so far today. So reached base 3 times, and his at-bat is 0 for 0. first pitch to him. Big swing and a miss. Strike one. Smith now. The 0-1. Burchanowski gets a big piece of that to left center. Tracking is the center fielder, and he's going to make a great running catch there to put away Burchanowski here in the 5th. Probably about a 25-yard run over to where the ball was, tracking it the whole way, and made a nice kind of leaning catch there, did the center fielder. And that's Joust, the leadoff guy for the Eagles. So that'll bring up pitcher Bryce Hinsdale. First pitch to him. He swings on it towards left center, and the left fielder tracking and does make the play. 1-2-3 inning for the Eagles. And only six pitches thrown that inning. Only 6 pitches thrown by Clayton Smith, who has a really good job getting through the pack there in the 5th. We'll take a quick word from our sponsor and come right back here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
Financial support for this broadcast of CSP Baseball Play-by-Play on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided in part by Stone Audiology at 709 East Columbus Avenue in Corry. Also in Bradford, Northeast, and Kane, Pennsylvania. In Jamestown, Olean, Belmont, and Chaffee, New York. Phone 814-664-7070. Online at stoneaudiology.com.
CSP Wolfpack Baseball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is brought to you in part by Troyer's Greenhouse, now open for the season Monday through Saturday. Troyer's Greenhouse is located at 1669 Weeks Road, just 2 miles west of Panama. Go Wolfpack from Troyer's Greenhouse.
Coverage of Wolfpack Baseball on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided in part by Whiteland Surveying in Clymer, providing land surveys for Chautauqua and Cattaraugus counties in New York and Erie, Warren, and Crawford counties in Pennsylvania. Phone 716-499-8410. Find them online at mwhitepls.com. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Whiteland Surveying for their support.
And we welcome you back into Clymer, New York for the Wolfpack home opener. They lead 9-2 here in the top of the 6th inning, and Bryce Hinsdale ready to get this one starting. First pitch to Blackman is in there for strike one. Hinsdale's next pitch in the dirt. Ball. Bryce working quickly. Here's the next pitch. That's a strike. Bryce ready to go already, and the batter calls time. Blackman, the first baseman, seeing a pitcher working very quickly, and he decides to call time to reset. 1-2 pitch. High for ball 2. And the count now 2-2. Hinsdale ready. Here's the pitch. Fouled off to the left side. Bryce still working very efficiently, only 75 pitches through 5 innings, allowing him to continue on here for the Wolfpack. A 2-2 pitch now. And a piece of that towards right center. And that one's going to fall in for a base knock for Blackman. The Wolfpack field it on delay, but not too slow. And Blackman forced to stay at first. And a little offense to get the 5th started here for the Eagles. Nowicki, the catcher, up next for them. And Chautauqua Lake trailing 9-2 here, trying to get some offense going before they run out of time. Runner on first. Here's the pitch to Nowicki. Out, and that's going to be strike one. Oh, 1 pitch. Swing and a miss. And that's strike 2. Blackman on first. No outs. And 0-2 to Nowicki. There's the pitch down in the dirt. Gets past Max White. Blackman takes off for second. There's no throw to make. And he's in there safely as White corrals the ball. It'll be 1-2 to Nowicki. Hinsdale ready. Nowicki now stepping in. Hinsdale's pitch. Swung on towards the third baseman. Spiesman has it. He's going to check the runner. Now they're going to get into a little bit of a rundown. He throws the ball over his head. Now the runner takes off towards third. Another throw down, and they're going to tag him there on the baseline. Gavin Burchanowski, the shortstop, coming back from third base to make the play on Blackman. So Nowicki reaches on that fielder's choice, and that'll bring up Wellman, the right fielder. Grayson Wellman struck out in the second and ground out in the fourth. And we'll see what Bryce Hinsdale gives him here with 1 out and 1 on. Nice pitch, hit towards right center. And tracking it, and they run into each other in center field. And that does allow the ball to drop. Mason Groders and Mason Groders ran into Isaiah Burkholder in center field. And that ball drops. That's going to be an error. And we're just trying to decide which one of them is the error. I believe the error is on Burkholder. So that error will allow Wellman on base. Nowicki will advance after that one to second. And Coach Matt Hare for the Wolfpack will go out and have a chat with Mason Groders, make sure he's okay out there in right field after getting absolutely ran into there by Isaiah Burkholder. And looks like they're going to check on Burkholder as well, make sure he's okay. It's one of those situations where you have a freshman right fielder who says he has a line on the ball. You have a senior center fielder trying to call him off, and the freshman didn't stop, and the senior didn't stop, and they ran into each other. So there's 1 out, 2 on here for the Eagles. Both outfielders stay in the game for the Wolfpack. Tough situation there, but in the end, just an error that it gives up 1 back. Runners on first and second with 1 out here in the 6th for the Eagles. And Crandall, the third baseman, up to bat. He struck out in the second as well as the 4th. And here he is in the 6th. Hinsdale will check the runner at second. Now fires. And a hit through the infield to right field there for the third baseman. That'll load the bases. Kind of a wild throw in from Groders, but fielded nicely by White, holding the runners where they're at. And Crandall's single loads the bases for the Eagles. Travis Emery, the left fielder now. He struck out in the 3rd and the 4th. And he will try to do something here with bases loaded and 1 out in the 6th. The Eagles trailing 9-2. Their offense may be an opportunity to cut into that lead here. Hinsdale. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss by Emery. Strike 1. And really this damage this inning, not at Hinsdale's expense. He gave up a single to Blackman, and then there was a fielder's choice, and then an error. And then another single. And there's another strike to Emery. He's got him quickly behind 0-2. So, yeah, he did give up 2 hits here in this inning, but I really don't think he's pitching poorly. I had 0-2 here to Emery. Here's the pitch. Outside, Emery misses it, so he'll send him back to the dugout. And now there's 2 away here in the 6th. Joust, the leadoff hitter, the center fielder who made that really nice play earlier, will have the opportunity to do something here for the Eagles. And Bryce Hinsdale also with an opportunity to get out of this inning without any damage after the 2 singles and the error. Hinsdale's ready. Here's the first pitch. Outside to Joust for ball 1. Hinsdale comes set. Here's the pitch. Joust fouls it off to the left side. Count goes to 1-1. Pretty big moment here for the Eagles if they want a chance to get back in this thing as they trail 9-2. Bases loaded even with 2 outs. This is the best offensive opportunity they've had in some time. The 1-1 from Hinsdale is high. It'll get past Max White, but the runner actually started to slip coming from third, and that will prevent anyone from moving forward. So now it goes to a 2-1 count. And we'll see what happens here. 2-1 pitch from Hinsdale. Swung on right back towards him. It gets through. Nice play by the shortstop, and they'll make a tag at second to end the inning. Great play there by the Wolfpack backing up their pitcher, and Gavin Burchanowski makes that play. With that, we have Bryce now. We'll take a quick word from our sponsor and come right back here for the top of the 7th here in Clymer.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned, Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
When the game is on the line, championship teams know the game plan. They communicate and work together to win. We all need a game plan to protect ourselves online. Talk to family and friends so they know how to stay safe too. Create strong passwords, turn on multi-factor authentication, update software, and recognize and report phishing, because online safety is not something you want to fumble. Get more game-winning tips at cisa.gov/secure-our-world. Then share them with family and friends.
Support for CSP Wolfpack baseball coverage is provided in part by Tina Dills, ERA Team VP licensed real estate agent, serving the Wolfpack listening area in all of Chautauqua County with real estate services for buyers, sellers, vacation rentals, and all relocation needs. For more information on how to get your move going, Tina can be reached at 716-397-7790. Tina Dills and the ERA Team VP agents wish the Wolfpack the best of luck.
Corry's only locally operated radio station is Channel 98.9. With your eerie weather, your favorite personalities.
Thank you so much for joining us on a Monday.
You see today local news, entertainment, and information around the clock. And Corry's Modern Rock. Channel 98.9, your one radio station.
And welcome back into Clymer, New York. The Wolfpack leading 9-2 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And the Wolfpack bats will start off with Tate Catnese, as he will be the leadoff batter in this inning. He's 1 for 1 on the day with a single and 2 walks, and he'll have an opportunity to get himself on base and be another scoring opportunity for the Wolfpack here in the 6th. And great job there by Bryce Hinsdale in the top half of the 6th, getting out of trouble. He did load the bases after an error and 2 singles, but he survives that and gives up no runs. And now the Wolfpack will have the opportunity to extend their lead as opposed to have it cut into. Quick little mound conference by the Eagles, and they're ready to go. Clayton Smith will get ready to throw his 2nd inning of work. His 1st inning very effective, as he got 3 quick flyouts from the Wolfpack and got him with only 6 pitches. So we'll see what happens here now in the 6th. Catney's in. Smith's pitch. Down in the dirt for ball 1. Catney's ready to go. Smith coming set. The 1-0 pitch. Strike one as he caught the outside corner. And it'll be Michael Spiesman on deck for the Wolfpack after Tate Katniss, who now faces a 1-1. Here's the pitch. He swings and misses, and the count goes to 1-2. Clayton Smith, very effective pitching so far for the Eagles as he's come in his inning, and this is his first batter of his second inning of work. 1-2 pitch. Swung on, popped up, and everyone's looking for it. It's somewhere behind the backstop, and we'll do that at that same count again. People were scrambling around on my left side there as they thought that one was going to land a little closer than it did, but it ended up getting all the way to the softball field. Really nice crowd here in Clymer tonight to watch the Wolfpack's home opener, leading 9-2 against Chautauqua Lake. Here's the 1-2 pitch. It's high for ball 2. Katniss looking to get the offense going for the Wolfpack once again here. The 2-2 from Smith. Swung on and missed by Katniss. He'll go down swinging. And that'll bring up Andrew Spiesman. Spiesman has sack and ground out in the first, a walk in the second, and a single in the third. And Andrew will look to try to keep his bat hot as he's been hot for 2 days. A good day yesterday against Maple Grove and a good day so far today against Chautauqua Lake. 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. And here's Smith's pitch. Swung on by Spiesman, hit to right field. It's going to get over the right fielder's head. He's got easily into second. Right fielder tracking it at the fence. He grabs the ball and fires. Spiesman's into second, standing up. He's going to go for third. He's going to get all the way to third. The throw is there ahead of him. He gets down, and he might have got below the tag. No, they'll call him out at third. Spiesman was convinced he was below the tag, but he was not, and he's thrown out at third base. Crazy kind of episode of events there. Great play by Wellman, the right fielder, to get that ball into third base and prevent the triple from Spiesman. Spiesman thrown out there at third, and that'll be the second out of the inning. That'll bring up freshman catcher Max White. Max stepping in now to face Smith. First pitch, swung on, fouled back over my head. Max so far today, a walk in the first, a strikeout in the second, and a strikeout in the third. So he's 0 for 2 with a walk. Here comes the second pitch to Max. That one's way outside for ball 1. So the Wolfpack go down 1-2-3 in the 4th and 5th, and they currently have 2 outs here in the 6th. If Max can't get a hit, they'll go down 1-2-3, 3 innings in a row. The 1-1 to Max, way outside, and the count goes to 2-1. Smith has come in and been very, very efficient. Here's a pitch. Max fouls that one off to the right side. And the count goes to 2-2. Max White trying to make something happen here for the Wolfpack in the bottom of the 6th. 2-2 count. Clayton Smith trying to get out of this inning. And here's the pitch. High, and that'll load the count up for Max White. Full count now. A 9-2 baseball game. Smith ready to go. Here's the payoff pitch. And they call the strike. And it was a low pitch, just caught the bottom of the zone and sent Max White back to the dugout and ends the inning for the Wolfpack. And with that, it's a 9-2 game through 6 innings. We'll go to the top of the 7th right after this word from our sponsors here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
Support for Wolfpack baseball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided by Countertop Solutions in Clymer. Go Wolfpack from Countertop Solutions.
CSP baseball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided in part by Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing and Air Conditioning, located at 147 East Main Street in Corry. They offer residential and light commercial new services, as well as electrical repairs, well pumps, and water conditioning systems. Phone 814-665-6034. Online at flicksheatingplumbingandac.com.
School sports are played by humans, coached by humans, and officiated by humans. So the next time you're sitting in the stands at a school athletic event, please remember this and maintain your humanity, especially when it comes to judging and critiquing athletes, coaches, and officials. Please show your fellow humans some respect. They'll appreciate your empathy.
This message presented by NISFA and the New York State Athletic Administrators Association.
Welcome back to Clymer, a 9-2 game going into the top of the 7th, and a pitching change for the Wolfpack. Gavin Berchanowski coming on to pitch here in the 7th. And meanwhile, they'll move Tate Katniss to shortstop and Bryce Hinsdale to first base. Berchanowski a chance to close this thing out for the Pack. Watching his delivery is about a 3/4 arm, and he throws the ball with kind of just a slight hitch in his release that could definitely catch batters off guard. And that one was a nice strike right down the middle there from Gavin, so he's about ready to get going. And we'll get ready to start the 7th inning in a 9-2 baseball game. The Eagles will lead off with their, the top of their lineup. Joust, the center fielder, who made a really nice play in the last 2 innings. We'll get a chance to get the bat going. He is 1 for 4 on the day. Strikeout in the first, ground outs in the 5th and 6th, but he did have a single in the 3rd. Joust ready to get going, and I think a couple final pitches here for Berchanowski. There was his last one, and we'll get it going. The Pack all going to come to the mound and talk to Gavin for a minute. Young guy pitching the ball late in the game. I mean, you got a big lead, but it's still a spot. It's a little exciting when you're a young player, and so the seniors will make sure he's ready to go, and now they'll take their spots in the infield. He and Max White having a little bit of an extended conversation. Max now heading back behind the plate. So Matt Hare will go to his sophomore here to put this thing away, and the Eagles hoping that they can get to Gavin before he gets to them. Joust now in the box. Berchanowski ready to get it going. He winds and fires. First pitch is going to be strike 1. Inside edge of the plate there for Smith, not Joust. I misspoke. Smith at bat. Joust was the final out of the 6th inning. Second pitch from Berchanowski. Inside for ball 1. So Smith, the second baseman, he struck out in the 1st, had a single in the 3rd, and ground out in the 5th. 1-1 from Berchanowski. And that's going to be low for ball 2. Wolfpack trying to finish this thing off with his nice 9-2 lead. 2-1 from Berchanowski. Nice pitch and a huge piece from Smith to left field. Tracking it is Phelps, and he makes the play. Fly out to Brady Phelps is the first out of the 7th, and that'll bring up Devin Hughes. Devin has had a interesting day. Ground out in the 1st, reached by fielder's choice in the 3rd, and then reached by error in the 5th. Devin will be the second batter this inning for the Eagles, and with 1 out now, Berchanowski will look to try to get to the second out of the inning and get out of this thing. First pitch, grabs the outside of the zone for strike 1. Berchanowski ready to go. Looking like Hinsdale with his quick work. The 0-1. Hughes gets a piece. It's going to go towards center field. Tracking it is Burkholder, and he makes a nice run and grabs that one after about a 25, 30-yard run, and Hughes is retired as well. 2 down now in the 7th for the Wolfpack, and that'll bring up their number 4 hitter, the shortstop, Henry. So with 2 outs here, Burchanowski very close to finishing this thing off, as he had some great work the 6 innings prior from Bryce Hinsdale, and now he's carrying that on here in the 7th. There's a piece towards second base, fielded by Abers. He gets it to first in time, and the side is retired. Great play there by Johnny Abers, raging to his right to put this thing away for the Wolfpack. And with that, the Wolfpack now have their second win of the season in just the last 2 days, and another big league win here, and this will move them into the top half of the league, and they'll line up to shake hands. And I have to say, today's player of the game really has to be Bryce Hinsdale. Both offensively and defensively, threw 93 pitches. He only gave up 2 runs, and really just a really great day on the mound. And then offensively, he had a single and reached by error and was able to bring home 3 runs in that process. So Bryce Hinsdale will get player of the game today as the Wolfpack picks up their second win of the season. They're back in action Saturday at Pine Valley, weather permitting, and we'll see you then on the 98.9 Sports Stream. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
Thanks for listening to this broadcast of CSP Wolfpack Baseball on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream at channel989.org. This broadcast is presented by Countertop Solutions, Caflisch Pallet and Wood Supply, Triple E Manufacturing, Necker's Company General Store, Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing, Troyer's Greenhouse, by Stone Audiology, by Whiteland Surveying, J.H. Napa Auto Parts, Mosher's Carpeting, J. Edwards Insurance, Utegg's Body Shop, by Lictus Oil and Propane, and Tina Dills, ERA Team VP Licensed Real Estate Agent. Tune in next time for all the action of CSP Wolfpack Baseball.